Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Speed. I'm a member of Baptist Church here. On January 27th of last year, it was 9:30 at night. It was 9 degrees outside. A little bit of misty rain had frozen the driveway. I went out and put salt and sand on the driveway. I figured, why not take the garbage down now instead of 5:30 in the morning? So I brought the garbage out, had the dog with me, got to the end of the driveway, and I had slipped on a small patch of ice, had fallen and broken my leg in 7 places. If you would have told me that you would fallen at the end of your driveway and broken your leg, I probably would have laughed at you. I spent 21 years in the military. I'm a retired city firefighter. I have been a can-do person all my life, and I couldn't help myself at this moment. I had screamed for the family. Nobody heard me. I laid out there about 20 minutes screaming, yelling. I could see everybody inside the house, all the commotion going on. I had a pair of t-shirt and a pair of sweatpants on and a pair of Crocs, not even any socks. And I had fallen, and I was out there probably about a good 20 minutes before I tried getting up the driveway. You know, as a city firefighter, I've carried frozen dead bodies out of driveways that have fallen, either broke their leg or their hip. So I knew what was coming. I knew what was going to happen to me. And so I laid there for a little while. I was angry. And I started going through things in my head that just were not right. You know, all the worldly possessions that I have, my house, our vehicles, none of that meant anything. Nothing at all. The only 2 things that meant anything to me at that point were my wife and my kids. And the 2 most important things were I was not the husband that I should have been, and I could have been a whole lot better dad, and I most definitely could have been a better Christian. All 3 of these things I fell short. You know, as men, we try to provide for our family and give them this and give them that. I wasn't even giving the most basic to my kids of just sitting down and reading the Bible with them. One of the biggest things that I've done wrong is I haven't lived up to my full potential even as a Christian. I feel that there's some real work that I even still need to do even this day. I laid out there for probably about another 15 more minutes screaming. Nobody heard me. I gave up. I was convinced that this was where I was going to die. I started talking with God, and I started feeling comfortable. I'd laid back. I accepted the fact that this was where I was going to die. And everything was peaceful. It was really strange. I wasn't afraid. I was very comfortable. I kind of knew what was going to happen. And I think God let me dwell in that for a little while. I guess he let his message go home. 10 minutes later, Laura's screaming outside, "Michael, you out here?" It was the greatest sound I had ever heard. You know, I said, "Yeah, I'm here. Get me an ambulance." I said, "I broke my leg." I went to Putnam Hospital, stayed a day and a half there before they determined they couldn't do the surgery. They then sent me to Westchester Medical Center, where I stayed for about 4 weeks. I think I learned patience laying in a bed for 4 weeks. I've always been able to do everything myself. I then instantly became humbled. I had to be waited on. People had to get things for me. I couldn't even do the simple things like getting up and going to the bathroom without assistance. And that was hard for me. That was really, really hard. And it was very humbling for me. But the one thing that I do want to say is that, you know, during this time, we had some real financial stretches. We had some issues with things that came up. And I think the worst thing that I learned about is how bad your pride can choke you. I didn't want to ask for help. You know, I've always provided myself. I found the family here in this church, they didn't wait for me to ask. You know, they helped us. And I just personally want to say thank you to everybody. It just really means a lot to me. And it's definitely heartfelt. And I just want to say thank you. One of the things that I would like to do publicly is thank my wife and my children. You know, the months that I laid home on the couch, the endless, can you get this for me? Can you get that for me? The sympathy part wears out very quick. I can tell you that much. But that's where the dedication and the love of your family kicks in. The drive of making sure that you're well taken care of, and the experience. You know, even to this day, we have conversations with the doctor, and he says, I really can't believe you healed as fast as you have. The only thing I can say is that it's all God. You know, it's every milestone that I made early and in advance, and it wasn't me. It wasn't me healing the inside of my body. I truly believe it was the prayers that I was getting and the grace that God was showing me. You know, when I sit down and I try to explain this to people, why do I think it happened? The only thing I say is I look at them, I go, we don't get to pick and choose where God decides to humble us. Mine was in the driveway.